I guess just how you doing? Like, what's his last couple weeks been like for you?
I've been good. I mean, the last couple of weeks have been hard. There's a lot of changes and a lot of things happening. Um, but overall, I'm good. I mean, I still, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm blessed to still have my health and to, I don't know, to be able to be alive. I think those are two things that I'm very grateful for right now. Like, this is a pretty serious situation going on. So I mean, those two things, I think if you have those two, I think we're doing pretty all right.
What was your reaction to today's news saying that the Olympics were postponed?
It's necessary. Necessary. Sorry, it's necessary. It's something that definitely needed to happen. There's just there's a lot of people suffering right now, and there's a lot of things going on in the world that need to be addressed, and there are a lot of people that need help. And with how this virus spreads and what it does to people, and how it's changed so many things, especially with training and people's ability to get around to do what they need to do to be able to perform. It's probably best that it got postponed.
Would you say that's the sentiment that the most of your Team USA teammates feel as well about this?
I wouldn't know. Um, I wouldn't know. I do think, that people have different feelings towards it depending on where they are in their careers. So I think that changes things emotionally, maybe for some people, more so than others. And it may also, I think also, like, what sport you do can affect how that is, because some sports, you get one chance. And so I think it just depends on where you're at. But I think that overall, when it comes down to it, when it comes to people's lives and people's health coming to question, that there is no, I don't see, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't, like, don't get me wrong, like, and I say this, and I say it with it's not like it doesn't hurt that the Olympics aren't taking place right here and right now. you know and like you said, it's hard because there's a lot of unknown. There's so much unknown of what's going to happen or how things are going to turn out, which also, I think, makes it even more of a reason why we should all just be doing our part to do our best to, what we can with the social distancing, with how we're supposed to carry ourselves in our everyday to day lives. So I think that that's big. But yeah, whenever, yeah, like I said, lives are at stake, and we need to address that first.
I read some of your comments in Vahe Gregorian's article a couple weeks ago when the trials were officially postponed. You mentioned that, like, a gold medal, doesn't mean as much to you as potentially saving lives. I guess maybe elaborate on that and why, that's, gold medal is something that people, like you especially, have worked for your whole life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's been a dream of mine for sure. But, like, it's really, for me, the way I guess I think about it is, like, you're asking me to give one opportunity so that somebody else doesn't have to give up every opportunity they ever have. Like, that's really what the difference is. Like, I give up one opportunity, and and somebody else whose life is on the line is giving up, or who's dying is giving up all the opportunities that they'll ever have. And when you put it the scale like that, they're what they're losing definitely outweighs mine. And then you take into consideration, people are losing their loved ones, people are losing their lives. Like, no, like, it doesn't even, and, like, I don't, and I'm not saying this to be rude, but, like, even, like, you asking me that question doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's an obvious answer. It's obvious. And is it painful? For sure. Like, do I want a gold medal? For sure. Do I want to compete? Yeah, but not more than, you know, sparing someone from losing a loved one, or losing the life that they have, you know, to the air that they breathe. I mean, why would I do that? So if I can do my part, which is hard because doing my part is doing nothing. It's sitting at home, social distancing, and I'm someone of action. Like I want to do something. Let me do something to help. And but but oh, but like, you know, that's hard. But like that's what is best, you know, to do that. And yeah, and like it's just there's no comparison. You couldn't no. And like I already said it before, and like if that were to be the case where nothing had changed and they kept the Olympics where they were, like I definitely would not have gone. And I'm not afraid to say that, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And anyone who thinks of any less of me for saying that needs to you know figure out their priorities, because that's ridiculous.
You know, in 2016, you mentioned like in one of your tweets the Zika virus and how much different if this is. I think maybe for some people haven't realized that. You know, why is this so much different than that?
Well, I think one of the big things is how contagious this really is, how easily spread it is. I think that was a big one. And yeah, like don't get me wrong, I'm not, and that's not me saying like Zika wasn't bad. But as far as, you know, how it gets around and whatnot, it doesn't even compare to the coronavirus. So I mean, that was a big thing. I think also on top of that, before we left for the Olympics in 2016, we had to get blood samples. And then even coming back, right when we got back, had to send another blood sample to get tested to know if we had Zika or not. And I think that another thing is like and for some of this is like we like some of us, we haven't been tested, you know, we don't know if it's here or there, right? So and especially with that on top of the fact of how easily it spreads and how it can, you know, how long it can stay on surfaces, how long it can stay airborne, it makes this a lot more dangerous.
So you mentioned you're doing your part by kind of not doing much, which is crazy because you're so active. And what is an Olympic athlete to like? What's your day look like every day now?
Well, I still try to get workouts in, whether that be like running or I get some stance of motion out in the park across the street from me or something like that. Like I still try to get workouts in. It's very hard to get a lot in because a lot of places are shut down. Even like the OTC shut down, gyms shut down, but even some trails have been shut down. I know the incline got closed a couple days ago. So it's hard, but you know, you just do your best to do that. And then, you know, I'm sitting around home watching Netflix, playing video games, and reading a book here and there. I remember today I was bored the other day, so I got on my Nike Elite account and just looked at all the cool stuff on Nike Elite. So it's just you know, just doing my part day by day, like I said.
So there's no like, can you practice wrestling at all? Can you like grapple with anybody or do anything with that?
Not really. I mean, there's no mats to be around, really. You know, it's been very difficult to figure that out. I mean, like whenever the quarantines started happening, like we went to like when the OTC was still open, yeah, we were still doing that. And then like the OTC got shut down, and then we went to Air Force, and I had Dustin Kilgore, and me and Dustin worked out. And so now it's just kind of trying to figure out what and where we're going to do stuff, you know, and it's hard to be, right, because you're trying to stay in shape, and plus you can't really social distance when you wrestle, right, or when you hand fight somebody. So it's definitely, you know, taking a lot of precautions. Pure and Clean is one of my cleaning sponsors. I definitely use their product a lot more now. You know, like I always used it, but now like it's on like everything. Like it's like no risk of anything happening. Trying to well, I shouldn't say no risk, but trying to dial down on that risk. So I mean, but you know, you try and do your best, but for the most part, yeah, everything's just kind of hard to get around, and everything's shut down.
The last couple of weeks, have you just been in Colorado Springs, or were you anywhere else, or do you have any like travel problems at all, or?
Whenever, so I was actually in Ohio State when beginning of March around, I think it was like the 15th or the 10th or through the 15th or something. I had to come back early because there's just a lot of the quarantines were starting to happen, and travel was starting to kind of get wishy-washy, almost kind of just, it was going to be hard to get home. So I remember I get back early, I had to change my flight. So that's the only thing. Other than that, I've just been at home. So once I got back, I stayed home, and yeah, I think the only thing really that got canceled for me was going to the trials.
So I guess what have your coaches told you about what the next few weeks, months look like? I know that really at this point, no one can really predict the future, but have they given you any sort of date where like they're hoping that you can get back to wrestling? And
Overall, I'm not really sure. I think that we're all definitely in this one, trying to adjust to the news that just came out today. And trying, so I think that changes the schedule a little bit. So I'm not sure on that, but I'd imagine that affects some things. And then trying to listen to what we're figuring out from the news and everything, and what's going on with this virus. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What more, is there more limitations? Are there less? And then kind of go from there. People got to understand this is a very, and I use this word because this is the word that's been used for me, but it's a very fluid situation. Like everything is, what do we hear? What do we know? What can we do? And so I think that's the big thing right now, is that we're just trying to, I think right now we're just trying to find some solid ground to stand on. And once we know something or figure something out, everybody will know. USA Wrestling's done a great job of informing their athletes what's been going on, what the plans are, and also letting us know when they don't have answers and when it's something that we have to wait and see. So, once they figure that out, we will know.
have you? And I know it's all fresh, but do you foresee, now that you have another year, does this change anything for you in like regards to maybe your weight class you're going to do at the Olympics, or just like training? Like, is there anything maybe you did this year that maybe it's a blessing that you have another year, or do you have any thoughts on that?
Not really. I don't think it changes anything for me. I think that my decision is still, I should say that the reasonings for my decisions still hold true. And I think the only thing for me that really changes is my training a little bit. My training, whatever it is that I'm able to do, I'm gonna have to dial it back, because I was ramping up for trials, and so now trials isn't happening. So having to dial it back down, which is hard, because you're antsy, you're ready to go, and your body's feeling good, and like let's go, let's do this. So I definitely think it's like just letting. For me, I think the biggest thing for me right now is accepting the calm and accepting what's going on, and just breathing, taking it one day at a time. Because like I want to, like I'm ready to go. I was tapering off. I was ready to go, and so now it's just trying to like slow down and relax, which is probably it's not too bad of a thing. So it's definitely something that will have to come through in my training, and yeah, but like other than that, it's nothing else really will change for me. Weight class and everything stay the same.
I guess it's a good thing that you have so many skills outside of wrestling. Have you had any time to write any songs, play any instruments? Do you have instruments with you?
Well, my friend of mine, actually, Reese Humphrey, just sent me a few instrumentals that he wants to have a song written to. So maybe I'll take a look at that and start working on that, because it's one of the instrumentals he sent me. I liked a lot. So, and it actually, that'd be a cool little journey for me, because I'm definitely a person that normally has words first and then puts the music to it. So I have to work backwards. I don't know. I've never done that way around. So we'll see.
How's your family doing back in Missouri right now?
Oh, they're good. I mean, a lot of things are happening. Obviously, like they're under quarantine and schools are shutting down. And yeah, my mom was telling me about how crazy that was. But they're good. I'm hoping that my my grandmother will stay home for one day. She was going to before it got too crazy with quarantine. She was like going to church or some birthday party or something like that. I'm like, come on, grandma, I guess it's too much going on. But she's all, but I think now she's definitely staying home. But I don't think she's staying home because she wants to. She's staying home because everything got canceled. So
Not a bad thing.
yeah, it's not a bad thing. So it's like she's staying home by default. That's what it is. But they're doing well, and hopefully they're staying healthy and staying safe. So being smart.
What would your message to MidMissourians be? Just on this whole situation, all those fans out there that were hoping to root for you in Tokyo. And
yeah, well, continue to root for me some point in the future, because I definitely plan and hope to be back. And that's something that was hard, because this was hard. It was definitely hard, but it had me thinking about a lot of things and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is not even for myself, but for the opportunities lost from seniors in high school, colleges, and all that. And that definitely hit me. I don't really get too upset with things that affect me too much. I don't know why, but like when things affect other people, especially people or things that I care about, that really gets to me. But I think the biggest thing for them and those guys is to understand what's happening in the world, and that yes, what the opportunities that you've lost and possibly will never have again, people are losing a lot more, and it doesn't equal out. And I know it's hard, maybe because you don't see it, maybe because it's not as bad where you're at, maybe maybe you're not even paying attention to it, but I promise you, there are a lot of people who are losing a lot more, losing their lives, losing their loved ones, who are hurting a lot more than we are. We lost a moment. They lost everything, so let's keep that in perspective. And I'm not saying that like it's going to make it easier and it's going to make it better, but I am saying that so you can put it in perspective, and that you understand that it wasn't for nothing. You didn't lose the opportunity for no reason. So I think that's my message to them.
you spoke about the seniors, and first thing that came to my mind, but it came to my mind when I was thinking of the questions to ask you, was J'den Cox, who took an Olympic red shirt, gave up his senior year, so to speak, to do this, to train for the Olympics. Have you talked to him? Is he, what his plans? Obviously.
I haven't talked to him personally yet. I'm actually supposed to call Mike Ironman here in a little bit, but I haven't talked to him personally yet. But I imagine that it's hard, but also at the same time, I think that he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he's smart, and this is hard on a lot of people. But I think we all know that there are a lot of things going on right now, and I'm sure that we'll connect and talk about it at some point. But yeah, I mean, even with that, there are a lot of things to figure out just on that end, as far as last chance qualifiers were canceled, all that. So we don't even know who's all into the Olympic trials or how it's going to function and stuff. So there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. But as of right now, the most important thing is making sure that everybody's healthy and everyone's safe. So, but like I said, once those questions get answered and figured out, you guys will know.
Can you sort of put yourself in the shoes of a senior right now, specifically like a senior wrestler, not getting the chance to compete? And I mean, how the NCAA championships are. It's one of the most electric NCAA championships out there. Nothing like NCAA wrestling. For those, do you think those seniors should get another chance next year? Or I know it's a complicated subject, but curious your thoughts.
Well, I mean, my heart tells me, yeah, because, you have to understand, one, I haven't been out of college that long. So some of these guys I've known, when they were freshmen and whatnot. So seeing them, grow and getting their, last opportunity taken away or something like that. Like, so obviously my heart says yes. And and like I would say my emotionally, like, I'm like, yeah, because I want them to have that opportunity. But if I'm honest, like, I don't understand enough to know how that operates or how that would work, or even begin to come up with an idea on how that would, continue. So, but yeah, like, I would hope that they'd get that opportunity back. Um, but yeah, we'll see. That's another one of those things where it is not my profession, and I'm almost kind of glad that it's not my decision to make. But it's definitely one where I hope that their decision is to give them the opportunity that was lost.
Yeah. Let me look one more time to make sure I didn't miss anything here. I got all my notes. Um, let's see. I guess we'll close it with this. Just what have you learned about yourself through these last couple of weeks? And have you seen, you know I always go back to the time where you saved that guy's life at the big tree. You're always a selfless guy. Have you seen any selfless acts, like whether it's been from you or a teammate or someone? In tragedy, it seems like good things prevail. Have you seen any of that?
Well, it's hard to see if you're trapped in your house, but but I think that I don't know. I think for me, the biggest thing, and I've said this a few times, but it's something that I want to get this message out there, because right now we're in a place where, like, we all have a common enemy. The world has a common enemy, and everyone's trying to fight it. And so it's almost like kind of united the world, almost in a way, to figure out, a vaccine, or how to help someone, or cure somebody of something. And I think that that's amazing, and I think that's great, and that's what needs to happen, because we don't want people to be suffering or losing their lives. So I think that's awesome. But my biggest thing is then it's like, what happens after COVID-19's taken care of? What happens post Corona? Is it we go back to fighting all the time and being angry at each other because of who you are, or what you think, or what you believe, or what is it like? Does it go back to being just the world cycle again? And I don't want that to be the case. I definitely think that this situation alone, as terrible as it's been, it's shown a lot of hardship, and it's taken people from their loved ones, and like, it's also shown that there are a lot of things that people can bring to the table from around the world, and that and at the end of the day, we're all people. Corona doesn't care about what you believe, what you think, what political side you're on, how things may function. It doesn't care. But I promise you that it takes you the same way, and affects you. So but I hope that after all this, that we continue and we realize that there's a lot to bring to the table from wherever you're from, and that unity that we have towards a common entity, we can have that unity for people in general.